Hello, this is AnlineOffline. Welcome back to another casual's quick guide to Call of Duty Mobile. For today's video, we'll be covering the Makarov. Introduced in Season 4 of 2023, the Makarov is a high-capacity handgun that can be converted into a machine pistol. It's the same as the Sykov from 2019, but against all expectations, it actually uses the correct name which first appeared in Black Ops 1. Named after its creator Nikolai Makarov, the Pistolet Makarova is a semi-automatic blowback handgun with a hybrid double-action single-action trigger that was developed after World War II. Taking a page from their German adversaries, Soviet engineers developed their own 9mm pistol cartridge and replaced their previous Tula Tokarev and Nagant revolvers. Simple and rugged, no tilting, locking, or any delay systems. Just a heavy steel slide and a large recoil spring. And with a service life that has outlived the Soviet Union, there have been a number of variants over the years. The integrally suppressed Besshummnyy was developed by Deryakin for reconnaissance. The APS by Igor Stechkin was a stocked machine pistol intended as a self-defense weapon for artillery crew, vehicle personnel, and officers when Soviet SMGs were replaced by the AK-47 after World War II. The Stechkin was not very practical. It was heavy, complicated, and would be largely replaced by the later AKS-74U. And much like the 74, these pistols would undergo modernization in the 90s. The PMM and 448 Skiff feature a faster muzzle velocity and larger double-stack magazines. The Otsa 33 per notch is a simplified derivative of the Stechkin with lighter recoil. Although the Makarov was supposed to be replaced by the more powerful armor-piercing Grach and later Udov as Russia's new sidearm, the Makarov remains popular. Base damage per shot is moderate, killing in 4 shots at first and then dropping to 5 and 6 from afar. However, its fire rate is slow at 335 rounds per minute, and unlike all other hit-scan handguns, it has a bullet speed of 450 meters per second. Headshots deal 50% extra damage, and you could achieve a 3-shot kill with just one. The chest and arms deal 10% extra. They can help at longer ranges, but it doesn't change the fact that the Makarov as a standalone pseudo-semi-automatic is the slowest killing weapon in the game. Like its fellow pistols, the Makarov has access to trigger attachments that can affect its fire rate, but unlike them, the extra effects are more unique. The heavyweight double action improves your ADS speed, sprint out time, and increases your chest multiplier to 1.2 times. But it does somewhat reduce your fire rate, and the chest multiplier isn't easily accessible in a head-on gunfight. What would be more practical is either of the lightweight triggers. Double action buffs your bloom and increases your fire rate considerably, but in exchange, it hurts your hipfire and strips you of any worthwhile body multipliers. Single action goes even further with its fire rate, but slows your ADS and sprint out times, and it also hurts your body multipliers. The Makarov also has a couple of interesting barrels. The SSB acts as a short barrel and increases your ADS and movement speeds, but it butchers your bullet speed by 25%. The SSL does the opposite and is an integral suppressor. More range, less recoil, and a faster bullet speed, but you lose ADS and movement speed. The most interesting and popular barrel would be Sorokin, which converts your Makarov into the Stechkin with a true automatic fire rate of 657 rounds per minute, much slower than its 2019 counterpart, which was in its 880s. To offset this increased fire rate, base damage is decreased to a 5-6-7 shot kill, along with more recoil and worse hipfire. Unlike 2019's Sykov, you can adjust its full auto fire rate with its triggers. Again, there's not much of a reason to use heavyweight because of its slower fire rate. Both of your lightweight triggers trade your body multipliers for a faster fire rate. Single action plus full auto restores the Makarov to its 2019 counterpart. And that's not all, because you can stack full auto and triggers on top of Akimbo, but we'll get there later. In terms of mobility, it has the fastest base sprinting speed of all pistols. However, both the 1911 and 357 can outsprint it with their short barrels respectively. The rest of the stats are standard. Base magazine size is 12 rounds and can be extended to 20 or 80 with a drum mag. Reload cancelling is doable, but it's not as satisfying as with primaries. As for blue, the Makarov is on the lower end of average and is nearly equal to the LCAR. Its hipfire spread is ever so slightly tighter than the standard pistol. Unlike some of those older pistols that traded actual recoil for visual recoil, the Makarov has a bit of both. In its base form, it's light. In full auto, it's much more noticeable. And if you use triggers or Akimbo, it's amplified. Akimbo allows you to dual wield and doubles your ammo capacity, but it restricts you to just hipfire, reduces your movement, range, and damage, amplifies your visual recoil, and slows your reloading and the individual fire rate of each gun by about 1%. For the base pistols, base damage is now reduced to a 5, 6, 8 shot kill, or because you shoot both pistols at once, it's a 3 burst up close, assuming that you're accurate. With heavyweight, it's possible to 2 burst if you shoot them only in the back and they don't flinch and you hit their arms. Otherwise, I'd recommend the lightweight triggers for a faster 3 burst, especially since the lost body multipliers would not have been of any use. The thing that everyone was scared of was full auto with Akimbo. With the damage reduction of both, it now becomes an 8 to 12 shot kill. It and heavyweight can achieve a 7 shot kill if you target the chest and arms only, but that may be difficult due to frame rounding, bullet speed, and the lack of precision that comes with just hipfire. A lot of people mistake fast firing for fast killing. With LDA, its time to kill is rounded to average and is similar to that of the Akimbo Fennec. And at its full potential with Akimbo, full auto, and single action, it achieves what could be considered a fast time to kill that's similar to the RUS, AK-117, and PDW. So, is the Makarov the Sykov scourge of Verdansk? No. Is it the early access pay-to-win boogeyman that no one could wait 3 days for? No. Is it the third wave of Akimbo calamity? No. What the Makarov is a very good secondary. The base version is very underpowered and is similar to what the MW11 used to be like before it was buffed. And in terms of standalone pseudo semi-autos, I would prefer the current version of the 1911 over the current Makarov. The base version with Akimbo is an alright secondary, far more reliable than the Akimbo Desert Eagles. Solo full auto is also a good secondary, and is similar to the Elgar, but is limited by its bullet speed, and the drum mag is an absolute must. And lastly, Akimbo full auto is solid. I don't think it's overpowered, even with its triggers. Aside from ammo capacity, it's not going to outgun more aggressive SMGs. But it is really good at clearing hip markers and contending with melee weapons. Those can be annoying, especially ever since they added lunge, but I don't think they are overpowered. I just think that some secondaries are underpowered, and all pistols deserve Akimbo. Not only would it balance out the over-reliance on melee, but it would also justify finally adding Overkill. As for any suggestions, I would have preferred if it was hit scan, but I doubt that's happening. As it stands, the Makarov is very dependent on its lightweight triggers, so I think that the chest and arms should be increased. It would potentially allow the solo base version to 3-shot and full auto to 4-shot more consistently. But hey, that's just my opinion. This has been a Casual's quick guide. Feel free to suggest what weapons you want to see covered next. My name is On, and I'm off.